Hello, this is Dale, and welcome to my stock and option trading education series, Lessons from a Professional. I trade for a living, but I have a passion for teaching you how to be a success. This is the first lesson in a series, and I want to talk about trade size. Believe it or not, about 85% of all people that try to be a success and try to make money in the stock market fail. That's a pretty daunting statistic. One of the ways that you can succeed is to latch hold of somebody that is a professional, that has done this, that does do it, and learn from them. And that's what I'd like to help people with. And today's lesson is a good one to start with. This is lesson number 1. Money management is the number one reason why people fail. Over trading, trading more, putting more money on a trade than their account size allows for. So that's why on this first lesson, I want to spend some time talking about what should be the proper trade size for you given a certain portfolio size. Most professionals will only risk a certain percent of their total portfolio on any one trade. And that's what I want to show you. That's what I want to deal with. I've come up with 4 equations that are going to help you to set your proper trade size. Now, for this example, let's just talk about what you would do if you had a $50,000 portfolio. And then we're going to go through examples, and I know a lot of you don't have that, and I'm going to show you how you can utilize these equations for any portfolio size that you have. Right now, we're going to assume a $50,000 portfolio. Now, I personally, and many professionals I've talked to, will only risk 1% of their portfolio per trade. We realize that losing is part of this business. And if you only risk a small percent of your portfolio for any trade, you're going to stay in the game long enough that if you have a sound, robust strategy, the time it will allow it to work if you have a small portion of your portfolio on. So the first part of the equation is to take the $50,000 portfolio times 1%, and that's $500 per trade. That is not the amount that I want to put on the trade. That's the amount that I am willing to risk. Equation number 2 talks about how much I can put on the trade. And you need to develop these statistics for yourself, and you do that by keeping a journal of your trades. It's very important. I know that in trading options, I am only going to, when I have a losing trade, on average, I'm going to lose around 25%. Now, an average, remember on a bell-shaped curve, statistically what you're looking at, if you look at the average is 25%. That means that sometimes there's going to be a 30% loser. Sometimes there's going to be a 1% loser. Okay? But the average is 25%. So that's a good conservative number to use, because that's really the amount of money I have at risk. Only 25% of the trade size is what I have at risk. So what I can do is say, well, I'm willing to lose $500 on any given trade. And if I divide that by the percent on average that I will lose if I do have a loser, that will give me $2,000. This is the trade amount that I'm willing to put on a trade. So let's just think about that. Most stocks around $50, they'll have options that are in the money, and they'll be about let's say $4 to $5. And for every option contract, there are 100 underlying shares that you have the obligation, not the right, but the obligation to exercise those at any time. So if one contract of an option is $400 and your trade size is 2,000, you know that when you see a signal for an option and you want to buy a put or a call, you can buy 5. Let's say the option is $5, and so that's going to be $500. Then you know that you can buy 4, and so you're always going to buy the same amount. Nobody knows. Nobody has tomorrow's newspaper. Nobody knows whether you're going to the trade's going to be a winner or a loser. If it's a loser, I don't want to risk any more than 1% of my portfolio. Okay, going further on equation number 3. Let's say you've got 20 stocks in your portfolio. And I advocate a small portfolio because I think, especially when you're first starting out, it's easier to look at a smaller portfolio, and because you're going to see strategies taking place all over the place, but why not get to know a small basket of stocks? So let's assume you have 20 stocks in the portfolio. Now, usually you're not going to be 100% invested, but if you are in those 20 stocks, 20 times 2,000 is 40,000. Therefore, you will never be undercapitalized. You will always have enough capital to do what you want to do. These 4 equations will help you to put the right amount on every trade, to be able to stay with the strategy long enough to let it work, to reduce your anxiety in trading, and allow you to take the first step towards being a success. Now, let me go a little further here and say, okay, I'm starting small, and I only have a $10,000 portfolio. And with a $10,000 portfolio, the thought process is a little bit different. You might be willing to take more risk to try to grow that. Okay? The bigger your portfolio gets, the less risk you want to take, because now you're getting to the point where the money that you're bringing in, you can use that to live on or supplement your income. But at this point in time, what you're trying to do is grow a portfolio. If you're in this range, $5,000 to $10,000, and a lot of people are, what you want to do is you want to grow that portfolio. And you might say to yourself, I'm willing to take 3% of risk per trade. Well, you just use these same equations and you say, all right, $10,000 times 3% is $300 I'm willing to risk out of my $10,000 portfolio per trade. Keep the average loss the same, 25%. Divide 300 by 25%, and that's going to give you $1,200. So you know that if you get a signal on a stock that has an option of $4, that you're going to be able to buy 3 contracts. See how using this equation kind of keeps you out of trouble? It keeps the anxiety out of it. You're not putting too much on any given trade. Yeah, but I looked at this and I think this is going to be a winner. I've been doing this for 30 plus years and I don't know when I'm going to have a winner. Yeah, I've got strategies that give me an edge, but I'm always prepared to take a loss. And when I have that losing trade, I don't want to lose any more than what I'm willing to risk here. And what you've done with a smaller portfolio is increased your risk size, so your trading is a little bit more aggressive, but you still have it under control. Because if you have 20 stocks, okay, and now you take 20 times the 1,200, you're going to have more than what you have in your portfolio. So another thing comes into play, and that is if you choose to have a higher percent per trade, you are going to have to stop at some point and not be fully invested. This set of 4 equations is something that I put together a long time ago, and the money management and the proper trade size, I can't overemphasize this importance. I've developed 4 very powerful trading strategies which I use in my personal accounts and hedge fund. I'd love to teach you these strategies and to be your mentor. What you need to do is go to www.breathhaueroptionmentoring.com and sign up. We go on a month-to-month basis. I give 2 live webinars per week where we can exchange question and answers. You're entitled to my nightly blog, plus you're entitled to 10.5 hours of webinars that I put together that show you exactly how I trade my account. The cost of what I do is way lower than my competition. But the biggest thing is, unlike my competition, you're going to be working right with me. Not somebody that I've taught, not somebody that I've hired, me. I'm a professional. I've done this for 30 years. You're going to learn from me. Do yourself a favor. Go to www.breathhaueroptionsmentoring.com and sign up today. Now the second lesson, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a very profitable trade I recently had in Coca-Cola, and I'm going to take you through the trade. I'm going to show you why I got in, when I got out, and how I picked the option, and we'll talk about that profitable trade. And then the lesson after that, I'm going to talk about some of the indicators that I use to help out. I'm planning on having about 20 or 30 of these lessons, and I'm going to intermix trades that happened to show you real live cases. I really want you to be a success, and I hope you continue to join me, and I hope you consider signing up to Breath Hour Options Mentoring. Bye-bye now.